This is Brighter Rays, and welcome back. We're looking at Genesis chapter 30 here in this study this week. And this study is called The Place of God, because that's what Jacob says, am I in the place of God? And this is a study that covers Genesis 30, 1 through 24. And the first part, we just did the introduction, and today we're looking at verses 1 and 2. So we're starting off kind of small here. And in this study for today, we're looking at the envy and anger. The envy of Rachel and the anger of Jacob. So let's start with Rachel here. And we're going to see another side, the other side of Rachel. Now we saw in the previous section of Genesis, we saw some of the character of Rachel. She was a shepherdess, which meant that she had to be a strong woman. She was a tough girl. We also saw that she honored her father in her response to meeting Jacob. But God does not candy coat these people. And we're not asked to try to explain away what is happening. Okay? We're not, the Bible doesn't cover over the sins of these people. It shows them pretty honestly. So there's a woman who is, she honors her father in one sense, but definitely later on we'll see that she does not honor her father in what she does. And so you see this happening in the same person. She's a normal person, right? And so we find here another side to this woman. Rachel is not a perfect person and has many issues. She's learning about God just like Jacob is. But back in chapter 29, we saw the beginning of Jacob's marriage to his two wives and the birth of his first 4 sons. Now Leah had one son after another, while Rachel could not conceive. Barrenness is not unusual in this family. Remember that Rebekah and Sarah before her both were barren for many years, and especially Sarah. Both were eventually able to have children. They both felt the cultural reproach of not having children. And as we look at Rachel's response to her initial infertility, we don't have the sense that she is concerned about what other people think of her, though. Verse 1 says that she envied her sister. So she's not so much concerned about what other people are thinking in the culture around her. She's really thinking about her sister. Her sister is doing better. But, she's the beautiful sister. She's the stronger sister. The sister whom Jacob loved. She should be the one having children, right? That makes sense. Not Leah. Leah's not the one that should be having kids. It's Rachel. It's her. So that green-eyed monster of jealousy and envy has reared its ugly head in Rachel. Her motivation for having children is not so that she could, be the mother of the next chosen son. She's not thinking about, I get to be. She doesn't say that she's thinking about this. When she doesn't say she's wanting to be a mother so that she can carry on the promises that God made to Abraham. She doesn't say that. All we see in this story is that she is envious of her sister and wants to one-up her. So, so she's not thinking about Abraham and the multiple descendants that were promised to him and then really to Jacob too. So she's not thinking about her. Her desire is not because she wants to be a good mother even. It doesn't say that. No, we're told her motivation is to have kids because she's envious. She's envious of her sister. Her sister has something she doesn't have, and she wants that. And so who does she turn to remedy this problem? Does she turn to God? No, not right away. No, she turns to Jacob. She says, give me children or I shall die. She obviously has a flair of the dramatic, right? I don't think it's that extreme, but that's how she's feeling. That's how she describes her feelings to Jacob. If Jacob doesn't give her a child, then she's just going to drop dead. Her life is worthless. We've kind of heard this before too. But here she goes to Jacob. She doesn't go to God. Now Rebekah went to God, asked about her problems. With Sarah, God came to her specifically. But Rachel doesn't turn to God. She doesn't inquire of God. She just goes to Jacob and says, hey, you got to give me children. Now, is this your response to troubles in your life? You turn to other people first to try to get things solved? Do you seek a remedy from your spouse? Do you think that your children can give you fulfillment? Or maybe you think that the government can help you. Well, listen to what happens next. Here's Jacob's response. Jacob, hearing the cry of his wife Rachel, what happens to him? He gets angry. Now, sin will often kindle anger in the hearts of those around us. Jacob says, am I in the place of God who has withheld from you the fruit of the womb? What is he saying here? Am I in the place of God? Am I God that can cause you to conceive or not? I'm not God. This isn't my doing. I can't make you have children. Why are you talking to me? Talk to God. Turn back to Genesis 29:31. What does it say there? It says, when the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. What we find here is that Jacob is right in his anger. It wasn't his fault that Rachel wasn't able to conceive in the first 4 years. God had withheld children from her. But this fact went over Rachel's head and thus set off a wrestling match between the sisters. See, she doesn't buy that answer, I don't think. Not right away. Not immediately. If it was God, and if Jacob's right, am I in the place of God? I can't do this. Then she should have turned to God, right? And said, God, I don't know why you're doing this. I want to have children. Please give me children. But she doesn't do that. So she begins to get into a wrestling match, a baby war, really, with her sister. And so next time we're going to take a look at those verses 3 through 13 where it describes this wrestling match between Rachel and Leah. And see the mess that causes.